Here we have the Clipper. That is the Imperial Clipper from Gutamaya, not the mythical Panther Clipper LX from Zorg and Peterson. If you ever wanted to tell the difference between the two, it's simple. The Imperial Clipper exists, but for all intents and purposes, and aside from the odd reference here and there, the Panther Clipper might as well not exist. So it's a Gutamaya ship, the Empire's medium-sized status symbol. Not medium in terms of landing pad, because it sits on a large pad, but medium as in placed between the cheap Imperial Courier and the eye-wateringly expensive Imperial Cutter. There's an Imperial Eagle somewhere in the roster too, but Gutamaya didn't make that from the ground up, so it doesn't count. How does the Clipper look? It kind of looks like a 34th century private jet, but built for spaceflight. It's the sort of ship that has the appearance of being owned by the elite. Maybe not the mega rich elite, that would be the Cutter, but the elite nonetheless. It was clearly designed with the aim of making it look like gliding through the stars is second nature to the Clipper. That not even an atmosphere or some floating space debris would slow it down, but instead it would gently slide off the hull. It's made of curves, not right angles, and by default, it's finished in Gutamaya's trademark gloss white finish. I do feel though that Gutamaya overdid stamping their name on this ship. It's not like anyone would confuse it with a Lakon or Falcon de Lacy ship after all. You could argue that maybe the curves and finish are similar to a Saud Kruger ship, but Saud Kruger have their own visual style that is totally different from Gutamaya, aside from the curves and the white paint. It's also got Gutamaya's standard blue accents both inside and out, and the cockpit is dimly lit and spacious with only seats for the pilot and a single crewmate. The spacious cockpit isn't surprising given the size of the ship and the internal capacity. It stands to reason there's a fair bit of form over function at play here throughout. But if you're flying the Clipper, you're not here for pure functionality alone. You know that compromise is something you're just going to have to live with to embrace and fly this ship. If you were here for practicality alone, you'd fly something made by Lakon, or Zorg and Peterson. If you're flying the Clipper, you know style is worth sacrificing practicality for. What's the point in shoveling bio-waste across the cosmos if people aren't going to notice you? What's the point in bounty hunting in the resource extraction site if the peasants aren't going to gawp at your ship? It's simple really, at least if you're the sort of person who buys the Clipper. There isn't any point. So, what's it designed for, apart from looking pretty? It's designed as a multi-purpose ship, not specialising in any particular role, but being able to turn its hand to whatever you need it to do to serve. If you need to go and teach a pirate that their way of life just isn't cool, no problem, just arm it up and go nuts. Need to give that life of crime a go? Add a few cargo racks, scanners and an interdictor and you're well on your way. You want to do some honest trading? No problem, just fill the internals with cargo racks and you're good to go. I could go on, but you probably get where I'm going with this. As with most multi-purpose ships, there's an argument that this ship pales in comparison to the mighty Python, but then the Python costs well over twice the amount of the Clipper. If anything, the Clipper is priced to rival the Federal Assault Ship and the Alliance Crusader, and while in theory both of these ships are more than capable of taking the Clipper down in a straight fight, neither of them can match the Clipper for internal capacity, with less than half of the potential cargo capacity on each of them. They can, however, both land on a medium pad, meaning they can reach out to significantly more markets. They're also both significantly slower than the Clipper, meaning that although they could take the Clipper in a fight, the Clipper can also use hit and run attacks to chip away at them until boom time. Speaking of which, agility on the Clipper isn't great on paper, but it feels better than the number suggests. The lateral thrusters are the main weak spot for manoeuvrability, and it's something you can work around with pitching and rolling. Either way, if you wanted to test for manoeuvrability, there's plenty of Thargoids out there that will help you put that to the test. It can also drift pretty hard with the thrust dialed up to 11, but the drift is at least predictable and easy to work with. Hardpoint placement isn't fantastic. You've got 2 large hardpoints sitting on the edges of the engine nacelles and 2 medium slung on the underside next to the wings where they meet the fuselage. This does mean, because of the width of the ship, the convergence is not fantastic. You're going to have trouble getting all 4 hardpoints on target if you're using fixed weaponry, so you might want to consider gimbaled or turreted weapons. Then again, if you like a challenge, you may not. Base armour is on par with the keelback, and the base shields fall slightly short of the Alliance Chieftain, so although the Clipper is capable, it's not the most defended ship in the field of combat. But again, not only is this a multi-purpose ship, a jack of all trades, but it is also a Gutamaya ship, and as I've said before, you're going to be getting a modicum of style over substance with it. For exploration, you can squeeze 50 plus light years out of the Clipper, so again it's more than capable, and although there are ships available for less money with better range, a lot of them won't look this good when clipping through the stars. Clipping through the stars, do you see what I did there? Yeah, I'll grab my coat. You can use the Clipper for mining too, and whilst the hardpoint placement, as I've mentioned, isn't ideal, it is fine for mining, although if you're core mining you need to be mindful of the width of the ship when navigating through the chunks of rock to extract the goodies. It's all too easy to clip the edges of your ship otherwise. One more thing, like the Imperial Courier and Cutter, this ship isn't available to any old scrub. You can't just rock up at a shipyard fresh out of the academy and pick one up. You need to pledge yourself to the Empire and gain rank with them. It's not a massive hardship if you know where to go, but if you're just starting out in the galaxy and you want to work up to this ship, it's something to consider. You need to become a Baron in the Imperial Navy Auxiliary. It's largely a symbolic rank, but it lets you buy a Clipper and flaunt some of that Imperial style, and as a byproduct of the process, it'll also let you buy the Imperial Courier, which is a hugely fun ship to fly, since the Courier has a rank requirement that you'll pass through on the way up. Is the Clipper worth it? Like the Courier, if you're happy to do the grind to your Imperial Masters, then you'll get a ship that isn't bad at all and it is fun to fly, although it's technically outclassed in each respective field by something else for less or the same money. The Chieftain is better for combat, the Type 7 for trade, and the Asp Explorer for, well, it's in the name, exploration. But that's the crux of most multi-role ships. They're middling in each individual field, but the sum of their parts mean that they're excellent if you want to swap internals for your given mission. Just make sure you've got all of the internals easily accessible. You don't want to be in the position where you need an hour for your internals arrive before embarking on that tasty, lucrative job. I hope you enjoyed this look at the Clipper. I'll see you on the next video hopefully, and in the meantime, take care, and if you feel so inclined, please comment, like, subscribe, share, all of that. As always, 07 to you all, and thank you.